You are live. You are live. We are live, y'all. So you know how I do this. I got my phone plugged up because it's Facebook takes up a lot of your battery usage when it's running. So I gotta have it plugged up while I'm doing this because otherwise it'll be darn near depleted by the time I finish this live. So I've got it plugged up to the closest plug that I have. And let me check in the Facebook group to make sure that you guys can hear me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Bess. I'm going to scoot you closer in just a moment. But I want to check. My name is Bess. I'm going to scoot you closer in just a moment. But I want to check. Okay. Okay, so you can't hear me because I'm hearing the echo in my phone. So I'm gonna scoot you closer because you too far from me. You too far. Uh, I got you guys propped up on a stool as my makeshift desk for right now because my office is currently in use. So so yeah. So here we are, y'all. Here we are. I'm talking. I'm gonna just chit chat for a little bit, let people get an opportunity to come in because I know that the notifications are going off on the phones and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and just unplug this because it's not behaving with that plug, with it being plugged up, and we'll just work with it. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. If you're joining in from the Single Moms Club, or if you're joining from the YouTube Single Moms Level Up page, I want to thank you so much for joining and watching live. Thank you for being here. And today you are in the right place. Today's day four of the 5-day Single Moms Co-Parenting Challenge. Okay. Yeah. So today's day four of the 5-day Single Moms Co-Parenting Challenge, and today we're talking about it's basically relationships. By the way, you hear that beep beep? That is my backup battery for my cable box. Yeah. So the only way I can get that to stop is to unplug it, but it will unplug my whole thing right here will go away. So it will disconnect the Wi-Fi and everything. So we're gonna have to deal with that beep beep for a minute. And I have something to say about that beep beep. That's a warning signal. It's a warning signal that the backup battery needs to be replenished. It needs to be reset. And you have to unplug it to do that. Is what I found because apparently they don't make that backup battery anymore. They have a whole different unit that they use for the cable box, but it's a grip of money. I was like, you don't lost your mind. I'm not paying all that. So they're like, okay, cool. you know, but they know that this thing was going to do this, but they also don't know that it's common sense. Most electrical things, computers, cell phones, whatever, if they start having issues, generally it needs to be restarted so that it can refresh itself, update itself, and it will keep going. So that's what I do with that. So amen, hallelujah. But it's a warning signal. So it just came to my mind that hey, we get some warning signals about our relationships, in particular our relationship with our kids dad. That relationship, there's warning signs that hey, something needs to change. um, Relationships with our kids, something needs to change. So our kids are involved with our co-parenting, and the reason they're involved is obvious, but they get affected by how we co-parent. So if we don't co-parent well, our children are going to suffer. Are not co-parenting well. Whether it's both of us doing it, just the other person doing, or just we are doing it, or maybe we think we're doing a good job but we haven't adjusted it in quite a while. And our co-parenting has to change as the kids get older. It can't always just stay the same, which is a relationship. Co-parenting is actually a relationship. It doesn't mean that it's intimate, but it's a relationship. It's more or less a relationship that is an association. It's not super close, but it's part of you. The way that I see it and the way that I've come to terms with it is that my kid's dad is part of my family for the rest of my life, because we have kids and we're their parents for the rest of their lives. So he's got to be a part of my life. He doesn't have to be a part of my everyday life, but he is still a part of my life. He still has to be considered family. If something were to happen, that would be a big deal. It would affect my children. It would affect me because it's affecting my children. Of course, at one time I did love that man in a different way, but now I've learned to love him as family. So family, you can't, sometimes you love them, sometimes you don't. But and so that's how I see that, and that's how I see our relationship, regardless of the fact of however he sees the relationship. I can't control that. And I'm not trying to control that. I used to try to do that and try to control that part of it. Um, but I offer, my throat's a little dry, y'all. Hold on. Okay, much better. Okay, so I offer, some things that would have made me uncomfortable, but I offer some things to him, like I used to offer and tell him, because he's a long haul truck driver, and so he drives all across the United States. And a lot of times he comes through Houston. So I know that, and so I offer. I said, hey, if you're in the area, Thanksgiving, Christmas, drop by. It's all good. You could drop by, um, and stay for dinner. You ain't staying the night, but you can drop by. He's got a sleeper truck, the truck that's got a bed in it, so he can go back to the bed. That's cool. You don't have to stay the night. You're not gonna stay in my bed. None of that. You know, um, but you can come and you can have Thanksgiving dinner. We can hang out. You can watch football with your son, because that's what my son does. Because he's really into football, and he's starting to get into basketball now too. So he's into that type of thing, and that's what Thanksgiving is a football Sunday, or football a big football event. On Thanksgiving. There's football games all the way through college and all kinds of stuff. And then Christmas, I would invite him over as well. If he was in the area, come by Christmas, come have Christmas dinner with us, hang out. We'll open up gifts and stuff. You can give the kids their gifts. They could give you the gifts that they have for you. Which they generally, I have to admit, they don't buy gifts for their dad anymore because he doesn't come. So we don't get him gifts. And I don't force them to get him gifts, because we're not going to send them to him, because first off, we don't know if he's home. So they could end up sitting, in his mailbox, or in the rental office, depending on what size the gift is. So we don't send them gifts. We do call them for Christmas. My kids call them for Christmas, and call them for Thanksgiving, say happy Thanksgiving and all that. I do have them do that. My kids, I make sure that they call him on his birthday. Although lately, with their schedules and my schedules and everything, and my son being much older, they choose if they want to call him or not, and I don't make them anymore. I don't make them do it. I will tell them, hey, you need to call your dad. It's his birthday. Call him. Doesn't matter if you haven't called him in a long time, but call him and wish him happy birthday. And then the holidays. I was like, did you call your dad today and say happy 4th of July? I bring it up and let them choose if they want to call. I'm not going to make my kids call. That doesn't. It's I don't know. I don't think that serves a purpose. Those are holidays, and the way that I feel about it is that he's the grown up. He's the grown up and he needs to make that decision to reach out to his children for holidays, their birthday, um, things of that sort. But they do need to reach out to him and send him a card for Father's Day. That I do tell them to do that. Call him on Father's Day. All of that, those type of things I do tell them to do. Those important holidays, call him because he's missing out on it, and that's just the loving thing to do is to call him on those holidays that are supposed to be family holidays. Now, I have thought about, and I think I even talked to him about taking the kids for Christmas or whatever, but he's got to get them back in time, for school, and uh, the only time he could really do that is Christmas. Thanksgiving, it's basically a weekend, and that doesn't make sense because he lives in California to have him pick up the kids and keep them for a weekend and then bring them back. It's basically a day is what they'd end up having. But here in Texas, Thanksgiving week, that whole entire week, there's no school. So it's a whole week, but that's not how that works for his job. So with him being a long haul truck driver, sometimes it's hard for him to do that. So I offer summers. And so he could take the kids for the summer and bring them back. And I let him know when the kids need to be back for school, that I've got to register them and all that stuff. And that's hard. But it is something that we need to offer single moms. We need to offer that, especially if they have not spent time with the kids. And the only way that our kids are going to get to know their dad is to spend time with them. That's how relationships work. Relationships work and they nourish and thrive and grow based on us, how we spend time with them, and we're present and we spend time with them for them to spend time with their dad and be around him 24/7, for however many days of the summer there are. Um, Basically about I'd say 60 to 75 days of summer or something like that. For them to spend that time with him and spend it with their cousins that are out there and their aunts, and they get to see that side of the family. That's a big deal. That's a big part of my kids' lives because I did let them go for the summer, and it was, oh my gosh, it was the hardest thing I ever did because now my kids were halfway across the country, and if something happened, I couldn't get there. I couldn't get there unless I got in a car and drove. And even still, that's a big chunk of money to drive. And that was on normal basis. Now with the gas prices being so crazy in the United States, that it would probably be double that. So, I figure it's about $300, to drive from Texas to California. And then now with the prices being so crazy, it would probably cost a good $500 to $600 to get there. And then on top of it, it's me driving by myself, so it'd probably take me almost a whole day to get there. But I could get there, and then of course, I would borrow the money to do what I had to do to get to my children. But it that was the hardest thing. And then the thing is that you can't control the rules and the regulations and stuff in someone else's household, and that goes both ways. So even our kids' dad can't. They can't control how we manage our household and the household rules that are in our house, and they're not there to enforce them. We are here to enforce them, and it has to work according to um, how our unit works in our household, and how we work. It can't work according to how somebody outside the house works. So that includes grandparents, that includes aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, all of that, aunties, cousins, whatever. We have to work what works for our household, with us running our household, with us being the provider of the household, with us being the adult in the house, 24/7, almost 365. and saying that because kids go for the summer. But there were some summers where he couldn't take them, or he didn't take them for whatever his reason was at the time, that he didn't take the kids. And I don't know, sometimes that happened, a couple summers that happened. And then a couple summers, once the kids turned 14, they were able to make a decision on if they wanted to go or not. So um, my son, I think it was his junior year. Yeah, I think it was his junior year in high school. He decided not to go, and he got a job and started working a job in the summertime, and then still worked, during school in the evenings, and his senior year. So that happened, and so of course he didn't go. He didn't go, and then maybe if the kids end up in summer school, um, that may deter them going out to spend time for the summer with their dad or whatever. But don't be afraid. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Okay, false evidence appearing real. And when fear shows up in that type of a situation, we need to figure out, where is that coming from? Why are you afraid of it? And is it because it's something new or something you've never done before? Or maybe like one of the single moms said that she was afraid of the baby going with their dad because she's been the one caring for the baby the most of the time, and the baby doesn't know the dad. But that's the whole point. The baby doesn't know the dad. The baby doesn't know his or her dad. They should. And if the dad was wanting to have that time with their child, let them have the time with their child. Of course, if there's an abusive situation, do not do that. Do not do that. Go through a court system, do a mediation, make sure that there's supervised visits, do all of that. There needs to be a whole lot more um, boundaries in there that need to be in place. And when we send our kids out, there's got to be boundaries too. They can't just show up and be like, "Hey, I'm here," or "Hey, here's your kids." You might be working. For the summer. Your job doesn't stop during the summer. Most jobs don't, unless you're a teacher or work for a school district or something like that. But your job doesn't stop. You have to still keep working. So there has to be that open lines of communication, and there needs to be some boundaries in place in our relationship, our co-parenting relationship with our kids' dads. So that's kind of hard to do because at one point we were in a relationship with them, obviously, because we've got kids with them. And we have to learn how to separate that emotion from the relationship that still needs to happen. It actually should morph into a friendship, if it wasn't a friendship to begin with. For me, it was not a friendship to begin with. We had only known each other for a couple of months, and then I got pregnant with my son. And so I freaked out and was like, "Oh my God, I don't know this man. And now we're about to have a baby together." So we had a rush, got pushed into our relationship, and we clashed a lot. We clashed a lot. We're like the opposites. We were definitely the opposites. And it just didn't work. It was basically two broken people. I was broken, he was broken, and we tried to bring two broken people together, and that was a hot mess. It was a hot living mess. And we tried and tried and tried for 7 years. It did not work. He had his hurts, habits, and hangups. I had my hurts, habits, and hangups, and it just didn't work. So I finally got tired and was just like, "Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I'm going to walk away." You know, I'm going to walk away because this isn't working. This isn't working. And now I have a second child, and now I don't want my children to see this as being a normal relationship between a mom and a dad. For us to be always, at each other and disrespectful and all that stuff. It put me in a space where I was not myself. I was always on 100. Always on 100 around him. The majority of the time I was on 100, and I didn't like that feeling. And it hurt me on the inside to be that way. Because that's not me. That's not my natural character. Um, I'm a loving person. Yes, I have my bad days. Yes, I can get angry. But it takes a whole lot to make me angry. It has to be something just going on and on and on and on, and poking at me basically. And you poke the bear too many times, you're gonna wake up the bear. All I can say is you can wake up the bear. But that's not where I want to live. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to stay that way. I don't want to keep revisiting that place and always be going to 100 all the time. That's not me. I'm usually at even kill about five, you know, about five. I like laughing. I like, having some fun. Yes, I'm serious when it's time for me to be serious, at work and whatever, or in meetings and things like that. But I'm a very fun loving person, and that's the way that I like to live my life. That's the way that I like to enter an environment and leave my environment, to leave it in that way where it's a fun loving, carefree, non-pressurized, you know non-pressurized thing. And that's just me. That's just who I am. I encourage people, and I like to be and create encouraging environments. So I was just wondering, how is your village? That's the subject for today. That's the topic for today, is how is your village? You know, as they say, and as the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. That's so true, because when things happen, what happens at school, they make you list about three different contacts that if there's an emergency, you list yourself, you list someone else, and then you list someone else. So three people, three different contacts, you that lives in the same house, and then two other people that don't, and you need to give their contact information so that they can reach out. That's your village. And so if you don't have a village, that's hard. That makes it really hard, and you have to find out who's with you, who's for you, who's willing to help you out in your single mom journey. I was um i was blessed enough to have one of my friends, and my mom's friends, one of my friends' mom, to step in and help me out with my children. She did it while I was in California, and then she moved to Texas. And my kids were like in elementary school by then. But before that, she had helped me for a little while, and then she introduced me to Head Start. And so Head Start is a program where you can actually send your kids, if you're working or you're going to school. You can have your kids there. So while I went back to school to get my bachelor's degree, I had taken my son there. I decided to go back to school and get my bachelor's degree because I felt like I wanted my son to know, that I took the time and got my education. Um, got an education and actually got a bachelor's degree. The thing was is that when I got my AA degree, I struggled so much, and I'm sure a lot of it was because I was partying and wasn't really taking it serious. But I did really want to be a certified interior designer, and that was my goal. So I was trying to I was on the fence on partying, too hard. Then I'd get serious, partying too hard, getting too serious, and all that. And it was going back and forth, and that was in my early or late teens, early 20s. Um, and then I did finally graduate there, and that was by the skin of my teeth. And so when I went back, and I went back because I was pregnant, because I got pregnant, in 2000, and then I went back to school in 2001, and I was like, I need to get a bachelor's degree. And the reason why I was doing that was because I had kept being told that in order progress and go to different levels as an interior designer in my field, they kept saying I needed to have a bachelor's degree. You need to have a bachelor's degree. You need to have a bachelor's degree. So I went and got one. So I went and got my bachelor's degree and everything, and I got introduced to Head Start. There were times that I didn't have a babysitter, and this was before I got introduced to Head Start, and I actually was bringing him to school with me for a little while because my mom was babysitting my son, but my mom was in her 70s, and let me just tell you that she was, had suffering from type 1 diabetes and some other health issues and stuff. And so she happened to fall asleep one day. And me and my son used to go and walk around the block. So we used to go walk around the block, and my son knew the route. And so he knew and noticed that there was no gate on the side of the house. So he went out the back screen door, because we used to leave the screen door open in the summer times during the day, and to help keep the house cool. And so he went out the back screen door, went around the side of the house, and decided to take himself for a walk. He was 2. I didn't know this, and the reason I found out about it was because a neighbor told me that she found him walking around the corner towards this elementary school, and she says she found him walking around the corner by himself. So she brought him back to the house, and thank God my mom actually woke up, because she's a pretty hard sleeper. But she brought him back to the house and gave him back to my mom. She told me about that, like, I don't know, a week later, maybe a few days later, but I know it was close to the time that it happened. And I was like, oh my God, I need to find somebody else to watch my child, because my mom's not capable of doing it, because her health issues, and her age, and all of that was starting to take a toll on her body. So I was like, she can't watch him, because she's not, he's is that's not okay. So anyway, your village and our village has to be in a way that helps to protect us, protect our kids, encourage us, help us. And sometimes your village is not doing that, you know and you're looking for someplace else. So I wanted to offer this for you guys, for for single moms. If your village is not quite doing what you thought they would, and I went through that, and that was hard, because my mom is my mom, but she just was not able to do what she thought she could do, um uh and didn't I don't know, it wasn't working out. And then my sister was trying to run my relationship, right, trying to run my how I dealt with my kids, how I had it, would be with my dad, with the kid's dad. There was somebody else, and so that was causing a lot of interference. So my sister was not working out. And then when I did let my sister watch my son, I went to work, and she gave my son those blow pops, not blow pops, but big sticks. There we go. She gave him a big stick ice cream thing and cherry coke. That was his breakfast. A big stick and a cherry coke. I was like, you done lost your mind. So I had left to work, and I was working on a project, and so I went in on a Saturday. I had gotten up early that morning, and she was going to take care of him. I left at 6 a.m. and I came back at 10 a.m. I came home, he's on her bed, and I come to the door to check and see how he's doing, and he's got a big stick in his mouth, and she's got 2 cherry cokes on her side thing. I was like, wait, you letting that baby drink a whole entire coke by himself? You don't lost your mind? That's what's in his, sippy cup. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And so I realized she can't do it either, because she gonna keep feeding them junk. So my village wasn't working, and so I needed to find a new one. So I walked around a lot, and I have to tell you, I did pray a lot because I was so concerned. I was like, my son's gonna have issues with sweets and this, that, whatever. And I didn't want to, to him to have a um to become a diabetic. I didn't want any of that stuff to happen. And so I myself, when I got pregnant, changed my eating habits and changed my ways because the warning signals were going off. Just like that beeping of that backup battery, the warning signals were going off that I needed to make a change. I got pregnant, I needed to make a change. I was eating a lot of junk, and so I ate more healthy and ate more balanced meals and all that stuff. Plus, not to mention the morning sickness that made me do it. The morning sickness will make you do some things. But I wanted to offer you guys, you single moms, and yes, I know that I'm going over again. And I may have to start making these sessions an hour long because they're getting too good, and there's so much information that I want to give you guys. But I want to offer you guys, you know, uh, the Single Moms Academy. The Single Moms Academy is a is a more often times. So it's more of a weekly thing that will be done, and it will be starting shortly. We're going to we had some delays, and so I was going to start it in October. I was actually going to do it for my birthday, and I was going to do that, which is in July. And I was going to do that then, but I have a life changing event that's happening, y'all. I'm about to become a grandmother. So I can't do it for my birthday because the baby is due August 4th, which is the week after my birthday. So this is what I want to share with you, and I'll share this with you and then we'll be done. The Single Moms Academy is a membership program. Yes, it's a membership program. And in this membership program, it's going to give you some help. We're going to give you in this membership program help, weekly sessions. We'll have weekly sessions. You'll get unlimited access to whatever webinar replays we have, because there will be special events in there where we will actually do some book club things. We'll do some study, some some chats and the webinars and things with some resources that are put out. You'll get unlimited access to challenge replays, because this is a challenge, y'all, and challenges come and go. And because challenges come and go, they're not permanent. So that means that these replays are going to go away on Tuesday. They'll be removed from the group and archived to be used here in the Single Moms Academy as a resource. You'll get access to the self education resources that come up. You'll get those at the access to that, and this is 24/7 access you're going to get. You'll get, like I said, we'll have the weekly single mom talk sessions, and you'll have first notice of the swag products. So I haven't showed you this yet. I actually don't have a box prepared to show you because I just mailed it the other day, or just gave it away the other day. But you'll get first notice of the new swag products. There's a t-shirt, which I don't have it on today, but there's a t-shirt. So you'll get a t-shirt that says Single Moms Level Up Challenge. And let's go from, just struggling to CEO in every area of our lives through self-care, self-love, and self education. You'll get that. And then plus other things that are going to start to come up, where we can actually be proud of being single moms and not shy away and be, feel outcast or anything like that. You'll get first notice of the Single Mom Queen Box products. So the Queen boxes that I give away here in the challenges, you'll get notice of what's going to be in those boxes ahead of time before it gets published in the challenge, which is around the 15th of the month. Then you're going to get one ticket to a live Single Moms conference. So the Single Moms Conference is going to be a yearly event. It may be every 6 months. I think every 6 months is probably what we're gonna do, and so I'm gonna have to. I'll make those during the breaks of when the kids are out of school. So I'll probably have sometime during the summer, and then possibly um, do it again. I think maybe yearly, because summer is probably the best time for us to do that. But we're still figuring out what time we're going to do that. And it'll probably just be somewhere around my birthday, because that's just, what I would like to do, and that would be my present to you. Even though it's my birthday, would be my present to you. I'm sorry, let me go back here. My finger touched something. So, and then there are payment plans available. Yes, this is a paid membership. It's not for everybody. So don't freak out. Don't think you have to do this. Don't not show up tomorrow. It's not for everybody. If this is something that you would like to do and you want to be involved more weekly, on a weekly basis, and have access to webinars, to the challenge replays, and to the self education resources 24/7, and to have all this access, if that's something that you want to do, then do it. Go to www.bparksdesignllc.com and look for Single Moms Academy, and go under it. You'll see the membership. You'll see the pay, see how much it is for the yearly access and the payment plans that are available. So let's stop sharing that, and we will get back to it, y'all. So I want to they say thank you to everybody that has been joining and watching live and watching the replays. People that have been giving thumbs up and placing comments. So I want to say thank you to Ichman Tanea, or to Ichman. She's in Chicago, Illinois. I want to say thank you to Tiffany, to Nicole Tiffany. She's in New York. I want to say thank you to Kanisha Hughes in Michigan, Indiana. I want to say thank you to Ruby Adama. And I'm sorry, something just popped up on my screen. One of those little pop-ups. But Ruby Adama, thank you. Thank you, Yenny Ferreras. Thank you, Rebecca Tay. Thank you, Tony Antone. Thank you, Shanette Brown. Thank you, Abike Tinope Grace. Thank you, Jacqueline Maria Muhammad. Those are like the top 10 contributors that have been in here. I want to thank you guys so much for participating and being a part of this challenge. Let me know what your biggest takeaways are. We're getting close to the end. And I want to let you know the replays, again, are available all the way through next Tuesday. On Tuesday, I will do the giveaway, and that's based on what Facebook is keeping track for me. Okay, so I'm not picking this out myself. Facebook is keeping track for me. Who is a top contributor, and it's based on your thumbs up, your comments, and um, uh, I think it's your comments, your reactions, and things of that sort, and you watching live and all that. Facebook's keeping up with that for me. So if you want to join the Single Moms Academy, again, you could go to here. B Parks Design, www.bparksdesignllc.com, and you can join that. That's a monthly membership. You don't have to. It's not for everybody, and it's not required. The Single Moms Challenges and the Single Moms Club will always be free. It's going to remain free. You could always come and watch the challenges and participate and take notes, and still get great insight and great information to help you in your single mom journey, because that's what we all need, is help in our single mom's journey and to level up. So the whole point of Single Moms Level Up and the Single Moms Club is to go from just struggling to CEO in every area of our lives through self care, self love, and self education. So let's do it, single moms. Hashtag Single Moms Level Up. Bye. See you tomorrow. Day 5 is tomorrow. And we're going to talk about some money, y'all. We're going to talk about the money, the finances, how we do that. So I'll see you all then. Bye. Have a great evening, great day, great morning, whatever it is in your part of the world, because I know this is um, an international club that is here on Facebook, in our private Facebook group. Have a great evening, you guys. Bye. Much love.